Hello and welcome back to Mellohi, a DSMP podcast. This is episode 35 and today we'll be discussing Dream's lore video. As always, we refer to the characters by name and specify when we're talking about the writers, and we try and focus on analysis. Alright, we're back.
We're back.
Welcome
And we have lore!
Dream lore. Dream lore. Dream lore.
Dream be like, so there hasn't been any lore, so I'm just gonna drop this 2-minute long lore video and just watch
The announcement he made for it literally came out the exact same time my alarm in the morning goes off. So I wake up, I turn off my alarm, I look on, I think it was Discord first, is where I saw it, and I just see everyone screaming about him tweeting, oh yeah, in 15 minutes, I'm gonna post this lore video.
He told us it would in sometime in the next 7 days, and then 2 days later, he's like, yeah, in the middle of the night, this is gonna come out, and we're all like, wait, what? Sorry? Pardon? Excuse me?
It wasn't even 2 days later, it was like the day after.
Yeah, it was not, like...
He made the announcement that the lore, there might be a lore video in the middle of the night, and then he
Like-
posted the lore video in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a less than 48 hours.
I feel like he has some kind of prejudice against me, that he just posts these things at, like, 2
I feel
a.m.
like it might have been the thing where you're like working on something and they're not quite motivated to finish it, but so you tell people about it so that you have a motivation to finish it. Because you see people going like, oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
So he did that to convince himself to edit it.
That makes sense. He also, what was it? He also, after he posted it, said that if we like it, he'll probably make more of them, but of a similar length, because ADHD brain keeps him from doing it. So I feel like him posting about it was probably...
Cool.
Yeah, kind of that thing. I want more. I loved this one. I was laughing like...
As someone who, like, most likely has ADHD, like, I'm not, like, officially diagnosed, but it's like, I've talked to someone who says, who's like a professional who says, you probably have ADHD, but I haven't actually gone properly diagnosed yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're ADHD and you want to get something done, there's all these like tricks and like tactics that you sort of just pick up over the years, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of other ones, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I loved this.
You've got like these tactics, like specifically like, okay, how am I going to get this done?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to start doing it by this time, or I'm going to work for this amount of time, or I'm not going to do that other thing until I finish this thing first.
Yeah.
To like trick your brain into actually doing the thing.
Yeah, because it's hard to... It's hard to start things, but then it's hard to just keep going if you don't have the motivation, or if you're just getting distracted by other things. So, yeah, sometimes you need those tips and tricks, but... enough about ADHD brain. Let's talk about what Dream has produced, because I, for one, was having the time of my life watching that. Like, I don't know why.
Can we talk about how he gave us nothing with Ender Smile again?
Yeah, I know. What the heck is the deal with that? Because he keeps, like, they keep teasing us about it, and then we never get to see what exactly is happening. And I'm hoping with Ghost Boo that, you know, some information is gonna get dropped eventually, but so far, like, all we know is that they worked together, and that is it, and I'm like, that's not enough information.
Well, I mean, one of the most interesting things is the fact that Bad was involved.
Yeah!
Because we did not know that before.
Yeah.
That is a big piece of information.
Yeah, but also, like, that entire section where Rambo and Dream were just staring at each other as Obsidian and Crying Obsidian lift them
It's
up
so
into the air and
vague.
TNT fall down around them. What the hell is up with that?
That was...
Like, it's obviously some kind of connection to the dream Ranbu had about the prison, but then also the TNT seems like it's implying that he was the one who set the TNT, which was kind of already the main theory.
Yeah.
Well, he said it himself.
But,
It's not even a theory, it's a fact at this point that he said it himself.
Yeah, it's basically a fact at this point. It just hasn't been confirmed yet.
I think,
But also, I think it might have something to do with the panic room with Rambo. Because the panic room's made of obsidian with a Crying Obsidian ceiling, and that was where he had his conversations with himself that came in Dream's voice.
yeah. There's so much I feel like we should just start from the beginning of that thing, because it starts, so obviously it takes place before the prison, and sort of...
I saw someone specific pointing out that the discussion that Puns and Dream have happens after Doomsday, because on the map they have, you can see the Doomsday grid.
Yeah, so it must have been after Doomsday. Good to know.
Also because I think those two particular people, they were on the DSMP during Exile at the very least, but they left a little bit afterwards.
True.
I think I also mentioned that the last time they were seen was around the time of Doomsday, so it tracks.
I feel like just in case someone listening to this hasn't watched the video, we should just, like, lay out what happened in it. And also, spoilers ahead, I guess, for anyone listening, if you want to watch it yourself first and then come back, but this is kind of what we're talking about this whole episode, so, like, hey! Come back after you watch it, if you haven't already. But basically...
Okay, so basically, it starts with Puns and Dream talking. I'm actually not sure where they're talking.
I think it's in Pun's tower.
I think it might be. I'm not familiar enough with it to know. But I think it is. But anyway, they're talking about the Revive book, and they're not sure if it works, and they need to test it.
Yeah. And, Dream's first suggestion is Phil, because wait, with the funniest, most idiotic, like 21-year-old boy's logic of, he's old, he'll probably die soon anyways. We can just pretend it was an accident. No one will notice. And then Puns is like, dude, are you stupid? He's got like one of the most allies in the entire server. Obviously people are gonna notice. And Dream's like, well, okay. And Puns is like, there's not a single
option
person.
2, people who play Fortnite.
It's just, it comes down to the logic of, well, there's not a single person on the server that people won't notice missing. And Dream, in his stunning genius, goes, well, there's not one person, but there might be 2. And then cue murdering Laserbeam and Vicstar. More or less. They track them down, they chase them, they grab them, they imprison them, they take their canon lives. And it's a little unclear because some people I've seen say that what they think happened is that they killed them, revived them, killed them again, revived them again, but that isn't, I don't know, it's hard to tell if that's what's happening or if it's them killing all of them, killing each of them with
I mean, how many times
lives.
do we see them die?
I think 3.
It's
ish. I'm pretty sure
implied
3.
that they died from like
there
a
was
few different things.
There was an end crystal. I think they drowned them. I think they tried to like recreate deaths from. Someone said that they tried to recreate deaths from other people they know who died, but I know an end crystal was one of them. Let me see.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, like, if this was, like, not Minecraft and it was more a realistic story, it would make sense that they'd want to test different deaths and, like, different amounts of damage to the body.
Yeah.
And see if the Revive book can revive people from that and how much it heals that damage.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. Like, it makes sense if you're thinking about it in a more realistic way as well as just, like, regular Minecraft.
Yeah, it would make sense.
And also, interestingly enough, if they did kill them more than just their canon lives, this presumably confirms that when you're revived, you just get 1 life back. You're not back on 3 lives.
So, it looks like, let's see, I don't know whose skin is whose. I think Laserbeam's the gingerbread man. So
Yeah.
they kill Vicstar with an anvil at one point. Hold on, let me slow this down so I can pay attention. Half speed! Full analysis mode. The hell? It looks like potions probably is one of them. It must be, because they just both fall over dead. At one point, they have both of them locked in a crying obsidian box, which I believe is an end stone. Yeah, it's an end crystal. They crush Vicstar with an anvil. It looks like they blow him up with an end crystal. And they killed him with potion. Oh, and they killed him with fireworks. So that's 4 deaths? Yeah, so End Crystal...
So it could be that they killed them twice, and then a third time, which is a canon death, and then they brought them back, and then they killed them again because no one could know about the revive book.
Yeah.
Either that, or they just
They did say
took all
that
their canon lives
whoever...
and then kept killing them and bringing them back.
No, they did say whoever they brought back would have to die afterwards. So if it was 4 times, then it would make sense for the first 3, and then bring them back, and then kill them the final time. So... Yeah, so it looks like...
We do see that during the montage, Dream only uses the book once.
Yeah.
But we only see him use the book once.
So it's probably... And
they just killed them a bunch of times.
yeah, it looks like they killed them.
And then they canon killed them, brought them back, and canon killed them again. Which, like I said, it does seem to confirm that if you're brought back, you only have 1 life.
It is a little weird, though, because it looks like, at least in the order of events of the video, it looks like they do their final deaths first, because you revive wherever you died. So, they kill them with the potions last, but they show that first, and then they show the End Crystal. They show specifically just Vicstar getting killed by an anvil, and then they show the crossbow. They never show Laserbeam getting killed by an anvil, which makes it sound like Vicstar...
He already lost a canon life somehow.
No, because that would be 4 canon lives for Vicstar. Because the anvil, unless they decided one of them didn't actually work, which would be interesting. Or it means that Vicstar had 4 canon lives.
No, Laserbeam already lost a canon life.
Did he?
So they only had to kill him twice. No, I'm just theorizing.
That too. But that's still, but that's still 4 deaths. That's the thing, though, for Vicstar. He still would have died 4 times unless we're assuming that he survived one of the other deaths. I don't know. That's...
The alternative interpretation
now I'm just
would
confused.
be
I'm
that
confused too.
all of those lives were that canon lives did not exist, and all of those lives were all of those deaths were permanent, and that the Dream was constantly reviving them afterwards for the next test and the next test.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like... I don't know. We only see...
Seems like a waste.
We only see them reviving them once. It's just interesting to note that Vicstar... Because Laserbeam and Vicstar's final death must have been the same thing, because they respawn in the same place, which would mean the first death that they showed would be it, which seems to be some kind of potions. And then, so we see him revive them, and then it goes into the Enderboo stuff and the BBH prison visit. So, I don't know, they show them killing Vicstar 4 times and Laserbeam 3 times, which I find interesting. That's a weird little coinky-dink. And then we've got the whole Rambo and the TNT and the prison cell, basically. It looks like the prison cell. It's got all the prison cell's components floating up above them with the smiley face in the chat, all ominous, and the TNT. And then...
I'm sorry, but the smiley face in the chat, because of the way the pixel for the eyes look, makes him look like it's a closed eye smile, not an open eye smile.
He does look kind of goofy. I just realized the BBH and Rambo little moment where he gives Rambo the blueprints, assumably because they are maps, is beside the B&Boo Hotel, I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, I think BBH actually confirmed on Twitter that they were the blueprints.
Yeah, I think he did. But I just realized they're at the B&Boo Hotel, because I don't know of a single other building that's made out of the yellow concrete with the wood.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
And BBH throws him the blueprints. And then it just goes Dream is out, which people have already turned into a joke online. Which admittedly a very funny joke. But yeah, so I don't know, that's interesting. But yeah, so it looks like at the very least they killed Vicstar 4 times and Laserbeam 3 times, at least that we see. Whether that means they brought Laserbeam back and he's alive somewhere, is possible. Or I heard recently...
I feel like you're looking a little too much into that. It could have just been that there's a death off screen that they didn't show, because stuff like that happens, right? You don't see everything that happens on screen.
I mean, yeah, like I'm not saying that it could be that.
So I feel like you're looking too much into that, and so I think it for like cinematic purposes they only showed what is it, Vicstar's death, but Laserbeam might have also died to it because I wouldn't see there would be no reason to only kill Vicstar and not kill Laserbeam.
Yeah.
From my point of view.
I mean, the Laserbeam dies the other 3 times. I just think it's interesting that he dies 4 times. But yeah, that could just be.
It's not that.
Nothing. What? That's what it shows.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're assuming that everything that you see is exactly what happens, but that's not true because stuff happens off screen. So I'm saying that for cinematic purposes, they only showed Vicstar getting killed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that. That doesn't necessarily mean Laserbeam wasn't killed by an anvil as well.
I mean, yeah, that's completely true. I just find it interesting what they did show. And obviously, it's probably just me theorizingly extrapolating things that aren't there. But it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so then we get into the Enderby stuff, and then we get the whole BBH thing, which is interesting, because I've seen people theorize that it's because BBH was working for Dream, or BBH just felt bad for Dream, and thus tried to help him out, or I don't know. I've seen split theories about whether he was working with Dream the whole time, or if he just, after seeing what happened with Quackity, that he just felt terrible for him.
So I'm very confused about this part, because you said that content creator Bad Boy Halo confirmed that they were the prison blueprints.
Mm-hmm. He did.
That's so weird, though.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fit the timeline, or at least, like, when the hell...
Well, I've seen...
Okay, first off, when did Bad give Rambo those blueprints? Second off, why the hell why the hell did... Oh god, it's so convoluted!
Yeah, so I've seen split theories being that BBH... about what the blueprints ended up being. Whether it was... Did BBH give the blueprints to Rambo to blow up the prison with the whole TNT thing? Or did he give them to him to put in the spot where Techno later finds them? Because I've seen split theories on that actually the blueprints and all of that stuff was... That Rambo gets from BBH are the blueprints that Techno later finds on their little mountain. Which is interesting!
But that wouldn't make sense, though, because... Well, first off, depending on when BBH gives Rambo the blueprints, he would have had no contact with Dream, and therefore would have not known to put those blueprints at that spot. And Dream wouldn't have known about the blueprints either.
I'm just telling you what people are saying. I don't know, because it's
so... No,
wasn't Bad's visit to the prison on the same day as someone else's? I can't remember. It was either Sapnap or Ranbu.
I just saw... Lou just made a thread of explaining all of this. Hold on. I'll find it. You keep talking.
Are you talking about Rambo's nightmare?
Yeah.
It happened on BBH's visit. Sapnap's visit happened after Rambo was banned, which happened the day after Rambo had that nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
I remember because I was there.
Let's see. Lou just made like a whole thread theorizing about this. Hold on. Can I find it? Because... No, not that. Oh my gosh, where is it? There was like a whole thread that they made. Aha! Which was about the timeline of the prison visits. Dream and Sapnap, a whole conversation and showing Rambo the smiley face, and then Bad giving Rambo the blueprints.
No, that still doesn't make fucking sense because Bad wasn't a prison guard until after Tommy died, and after Tommy was imprisoned.
Wasn't he meant to be a prison guard from the start?
He was, but he
was only really...
They weren't hired until, like, Tommy was imprisoned in the prison.
So...
And that would have been when Rambo set off the bombs.
So, based off the timeline of events...
It could be that Rambo set off the bombs, and as a result of that, or it was after, when Bad was a prison guard... He found the blueprints and possibly related to Dream getting tortured. Decided to give them to Rambo, but that would require him knowing that Rambo was involved either with Dream or knew he bombed the prison or something like that.
Yeah, none of that makes sense. Like, What?
Unless Bad was working with Dream beforehand and had the plans because of that.
It also doesn't
Like-
make sense. Like, I know they had a
maybe he
very
just-
friendly relationship, but at that point, Bad was part of the Empire, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He had no reason to let loose one of the most powerful people on the server that he had no idea if he could control.
So
Like, even during his
Yeah, but
visit.
the egg wasn't that dangerous until after Dream was in prison. Dream didn't really care about it
Then why would Bad give...
because it
Then,
never.
then once the egg was powerful, why would Bad give Rambo the prison blueprints if he thought Rambo was going to break Dream out?
So, based off the timeline of events, just based off of, like, what days they happened. So, first we have the first Tommy visit, and then that 9 days after Tommy's first visit, Rambo, based off the logs that we see that Sam has of, like, when people came, Rambo came 9 days after Tommy. And then
What?
the
Are
day...
we sure?
Yeah.
Wait, stop, no, because... Does it say, do the books say the date they were signed?
Wasn't it implied?
Because it's implied that Rambo was one of the first people to show up.
It's the second...
It was actually, wasn't it kind of implied that he actually showed up before Tommy's first
That's
visit
what I
because
got
of
from
the
their conversation.
was-
because
that
of the
one.
music disc in the locker?
Yeah,
Well, not just the
there's-
music disc, because, like, I got the impression that Rambo, almost as soon as Dream was imprisoned, Rambo went to go visit him. Like, he didn't
Oh.
wait.
Wait, hold on.
But he visited at least two times, because we see 2 books. And,
And what Sam says implies that he visited a lot.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out if I'm reading what Lou says here correctly. Because this is just what Lou...
So from my memory, at the very least, Rambo or Tommy visited, and then Rambo probably visited again, and then Bad visited, and then Rambo got banned, and then Sapnap visited, and then Tommy visited, and then Tommy got stuck, the guards were hired, then Tommy died, then Tommy got revived, then Tommy got released.
So wait, that's January?
Like, not a lot of people went to see him.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to...
You can count it on one hand.
Why is
until
this
fingers
so
left
difficult to
over.
figure out? Okay, so rest. So Rambo visits before Tommy's first visit, but then Tommy's first visit happens, and then Rambo's like hallucination nightmare dream apparently happens 9 days after that Tommy visit.
It happens the same day as Bad Boy Halo's
Yes,
visit.
and then Bad visits right after on that day, or that a day. I don't know. According to this, it says a day after Rambo. I'm not sure if it's a day before or a day after. And then Rambo goes to visit again, and this is when he gets banned. And then his whole thing about telling Sam he doesn't want to go in. 8 days later, Sapnap visits Dream, and then Sapnap gives Ranbu the note, and then so Lou's theorizing that after that event, and Rambu walks away from Sapnap, and we have no idea where Ender Walking Rambu went, that is when he met Bad and got the blueprints.
But that still doesn't make sense because Bad wouldn't have been a guard at that point, and he wouldn't have had access to any of the prison's blueprints. Remember how they
he
got
might
a
have had the
tour?
blueprints because he's part of the Badlands.
Yeah.
But then he still doesn't have reason to give there's blueprints of this super highly secure prison to Rambu, this random kid he comes across.
I mean, that Rambu, like, isn't a case where Rambu asked him because it seems like he's, like, sneaking them to him. Like, Rambu's facing the opposite direction.
Yeah.
At least that's what it looks like to me.
So
But it
Well,
doesn't
actually, I
make
wanna check the
sense.
video, 'cause I'm
If
not
those
sure
are
what
the
direction
blueprints,
it's
it doesn't
facing.
make sense at all.
B and Booba Hotel was starting to build sometime around late February.
It seems like there's definitely something that's missing.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out the timeline on it of when that could have possibly happened, because obviously it had to have happened sometime after Bad's first visit, because Bad's first visit is when he starts to feel bad for Dream. So obviously that's where that, sort of feeling
I'm saying
came
it had
from.
to have happened after he became a prison guard, because he wouldn't have had access to those blueprints until then. Because Sam is fucking paranoid as all hell. He's not gonna give anyone anything about his precious build, right?
Yeah.
And that's would have been the he was the only prison guard for like
Okay, so I'm checking
a good chunk of
this,
time.
and it looks like Bad like sort of like looks around to make sure no one's watching and then passes them. Okay, wait. I'm trying to figure out
So,
what direction Randy is facing.
Bad became a prison guard in February.
No, I think Bromby's facing him actually.
I think he
'Cause
is.
it looks like he looks down at the very end of the clip. So it's possible that after he got the message from Dream, Bromby found a way to get the blueprints out of Bad somehow.
But Bad couldn't have gotten you guys are making the assumption that Bad had
But
access
he
to
might
the
not have
blueprints.
been able. It might have been that he tried to get into the prison by himself, and that's why he set off the explosives. But that didn't work. So after that, Bad became a guard, and then he got the blueprints off him after that.
That might work, but then if it's the same blueprint as the one Techno found, then how the hell did Rambo know to go to that spot to put the? He doesn't know everything Dream does.
He
Maybe
knows a
Dream
lot
told
that Dream
him
does.
like, this is a good space. Like if I need to leave anything for Techno, put it here because it's a place we both know about,
Yeah.
But
and
then
it's a
why
place
would
that we meet.
like it's too convoluted. That's the problem. There's too many.
You
moving
say that
pieces,
like
and
they
it's-
don't like to convolute things on this. I mean, stage finale was true, and that was convoluted as hell.
That was pretty straightforward, actually.
I mean, what I
But
just said
every- no,
is
but this
that's
feels
my
very
plan.
convoluted.
That's
when like this feels
I
like
think what I said seems like the most likely situation from the knowledge we have, but I feel like there's some bits of information that we're currently missing
Yeah.
that would make the whole thing make more sense. But from what we know, the theory I put forward seems like the one that makes the most sense. At least like it fits the timeline.
Yeah. It had to have
And
happened.
personally, I'm going to go forward with that until I see something that either contradicts it or makes more
no,
sense
but
than
like
that
the
theory.
part that doesn't make sense in this variation would be why the hell didn't Rambo just go and bring Dream out of the prison himself? He had so much time to do it. He had the blueprints, so why didn't he just do it himself? Like, why go through the trouble
Maybe he
of
didn't
hiding
have
it
the
in
power
the
to
spot
do
where,
it.
and this very specific spot for Technoblade, and hope that Dream somehow gets into contact with Technoblade to tell him to go look in this very specific spot. Like,
It's definitely.
It doesn't make sense. There's too many variables, and it's not secure enough.
Well,
Like,
we're definitely missing
not-
things on how Dream and Ronbu like communicate or interact.
Well, there is a reason for Rambu not to give the blueprints to Techno directly, at least.
yeah,
Which
that's
is that
true,
he
but
wants
it's
to keep
like,
the fact that he's working with Dream's secret.
Yeah, but that's
So he wouldn't want to risk it, but we don't know why he put them, like how they got to the mountain.
Yeah.
And it's even possible that those aren't the same set of blueprints.
I'm more
That
likely to believe that they're not
that
the
Dream
same
hid
blueprints,
a
honestly.
set of blueprints on the mountain, and then Ronbu got a different set of blueprints from Bad.
I'm more likely
Like, that's
to
entirely
believe that
possible.
than-
Maybe that's what we're missing.
It's
Yeah, I'm more likely to believe that than to think that they're the same set of blueprints, because otherwise, like, the entire thing with Technoblade just does not make sense anymore.
Well, we're obviously missing information, but we know at least that it happened sometime after February, because February is when the Boo and Bee was being built, and it had to have at least had the first floor mostly done before that happened. And so we know it happened sometime in February, because that's also the month that, or sometime after February, because that's also when BBH becomes a prison guard. So, I don't know. I feel like just looking at the video and based off the way it works, since they show Ronbu and the TNT first, and this is purely off just like how they present the series of events, is that because Ronbu and the TNT is shown off first, I'm inclined to think that he does the TNT first, and then after that, at some point, BBH gives him the blueprints. But we still don't know why
Yeah, that's what
BBH
I
knew
think
to
as
talk
well.
to Ronbu, unless maybe when he had communications with Dream while he was a prison guard and Dream told him to. But that's
He
like
said he
a
did,
really
he never spoke to him.
circumstantial.
I mean, he might have learned from Sam the fact that Ranbu was banned and had been visiting the prison and guessed that
Maybe
there might be a connection.
there's clearly
Or like I said,
something about the communication that Dream had with Ranbu during the prison arc that we're missing. Like, they obviously must have been in contact more than we thought they were, because the blueprints giving to Ranbu is clearly significant. It's just the question of, are those the same blueprints that Techno later uses? And if so, why didn't Ranbu break in himself? Which I feel like that's just because Ranbu is not a good fighter.
I know he's actually a pretty good fighter, but he would have been
okay,
but
but I think character
He wouldn't have been able to convince.
With the blueprints,
Actually,
at that,
that
point
makes
in
me
time,
think.
he could have gotten in without having gotten Dream out without having alerted anyone. Like, the only
Maybe.
reason the alarms went off was because of the glass wall and observers that were installed after Technoblade had left.
I think the glass and the observers for the glass was new, but wasn't the
No,
The
because
netherite-
Technoblade didn't set the alarm off until he got to that point in the cell, right?
Yeah, no, I'm
so
saying
he could have totally gotten Dream out.
I'm saying didn't the netherite also have observers connected
I mean,
to
he
it?
could have just turned an
No.
Ender Pearl over and let Dream.
the
Ender Pearl
netherite
out.
barrier is always down unless someone is about to visit.
I don't know. This is hard.
Also, Ender Pearls exist.
I don't know. It's such a
But also, an idea that just occurred to me: is it possible that Ender Walking Ranbu somehow planted evidence or something for Sam, in order to get himself brought to the prison, so that Techno would have a reason to go in and break Dream out, because he'd be breaking into the prison anyway? Because we
Well,
still don't know what made
the thing
Sam
is, though,
so
Techno
suspicious
would've-
of Ranbu.
Techno would have broken into the prison to get Dream out, regardless of if Rambo was there. The only thing that changed with Rambo's involvement is that he got the rest of the syndicate involved. That's it. He would have still
But the
gotten Dream
syndicate
out, though.
also really helped, so
He was planning to.
It could have
he was
been his way of
basically scouting the
guaranteeing.
prison out the day he saw Rambo. Like, okay, but think about it. No one knew Connor was in the prison. So if Rambo got trapped in the prison on accident or on purpose, how the hell was Techno going to find out? It was like pure coincidence that Techno just happened to be scouting the prison the day Sam arrested Rambo.
true.
Arrested, quote unquote. So it would have been that's too convoluted. There's too many ways it could go wrong is the problem.
I don't know. This is hard. We don't have enough information is really what the problem is. Like, we don't know
I'm
enough.
really hoping he posts more videos and we get more information, because a lot of our theories, you know that there's something missing and you can't really put everything together. Which is often a bit frustrating, but it means you can kind of think of multiple different possibilities that can't really be proven or disproven. You just have to argue about how likely they are
Yeah, like you can't. Like, we can't know for
and just
sure.
wait for more
We
information.
have to wait. Yeah, we need more information
Shakes,
before we can come.
grabs
up with
content creator Dream by the shoulder, shakes him aggressively. Why did you do this to us?
It's interesting to theorize about the information we've gotten, but anything concrete, obviously, nothing we come up with based off this new information is gonna be 100% solid until later. There's just too many missing components. There's nothing we do right now is gonna necessarily, be completely accurate. So I don't think there's any harm in theorizing the, random shit that obviously it has missing components, because that's how we came up with things like Stage Finale. So I don't know. It's hard to. This is the life of an analyzer and a theorist for the Dream SMP. Suffering.
Well, hopefully we'll get our answers sooner rather than later.
Hopefully.
I feel like every time we ask Content Creator Dream a question, Content Creator Dream gives us something. He just tells us things we already know.
He tells us things we already know, and then just a little bit more information. It's like
Sea Dreams reserved. Yes, we got that, King. What else?
okay.
Sea Dream and Sea Rambo are working together. Yes, we already know.
So-
Anything more?
So there is one thing that we got more information on, which is the fact that Dream's character knew the revive book worked before he killed Tommy, meaning he killed Tommy specifically to show that, not because he needed to prove it to himself, but because he needed to prove it to Tommy and the people outside of the prison that the revive book was real and it works and I'm worth keeping alive, basically. So that's interesting, because that's something that I've also seen hotly
confirms
debated.
it.
Irritatingly enough.
I just, Tommy's like, all right, then revive someone, and just like, that's not how it works.
Although, another interesting thing about it is that it adds more to the interpretation that Dream specifically acts more like villainous around Tommy as a way to intimidate him.
Yes.
Because saying like, oh yeah, I killed you, but I knew I could bring you back, is a lot less intimidating than, yeah, I killed you, but I wasn't sure if I could bring you back.
I killed you on a whim.
Because it makes him sound more willing to kill people than he actually is.
Exactly.
And specifically more willing to kill Tommy than he actually is.
Yep. It's,
You guys think Puns knows how to revive people?
It's definitely a possibility, because we haven't gotten any signs so far that being able to revive people is something exclusively Dream can do.
Yeah, that's true. It's possible,
But also
he
knows,
can,
like,
or knows how.
Puns would be pretty good insurance, because Dream trusts Puns enough that he'll do experiments about the revive book with them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the whole thing with the revive book, like, the best way to achieve immortality using it is to basically have a buddy, and whenever one of you dies, the other just revives them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you can just keep, like, someone would have to kill both of you at basically the same time to make sure that you'd both stay dead.
So,
Cough, cough, BB Agent Skeppy, cough.
I think there's definitely a chance that Puns knows how to use it. Obviously, we haven't seen him use it, and he hasn't said anything about knowing how to use it. We've just seen Dream use it.
I mean, obviously it will be a very big secret.
And the only thing we know about, like, as far as people being able to use the revive book is that Schlatt couldn't use it because it wasn't written in a language he could understand. And I think he said that it was, like, written in, like, moon hieroglyphic symbols or some shit. So, like, that's all we really know about, like, who it's limited to is that, oh, yeah, you have to be able to read this strange language that no one else knows, except apparently Dream just knew it off the bat, which is questionable.
Admin,
yeah. Admin theory. So it's just, yeah, so we have a little bit more information about Dream's relationship with the revive book, at least, and the fact that, you know, he already knew he could do it when he killed Tommy, and he really just killed Tommy to, you know, prove that it was real to the Dream SMP, and, you know, also probably get him to shut up for 2 days. Which, I mean, he lasted a week, so that's impressive all of its own, considering his low moral.
I mean, Tommy kind of quieted down by the end of it.
Until he was told that he was
really
gonna have to
quiet.
stay there for longer, and then Dream was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" Yeah. Because all we know about that week beforehand was that Tommy was an absolute nuisance and was just harassing Dream the entire time.
Honestly, it was so funny to see people with, like, all these angsty headcanons and fan art and stuff, and then the stream actually happens and it's just Tommy being annoying.
Yeah, it's just Tommy singing and, like, asking him, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And smacking him, and it's just like, okay, you are the worst roommate possible. I would never want to be on a road trip with you. Yeah, so we have a little bit of information on that. We got more Drun's, you know, stage duo content, which is great, because it shows that Dream and Puns really do trust each other. And that
they're boyfriends.
Yeah, that bond is very tight and very, very, very real. So, Dream has a friend, good for him. Unfortunately, it's a mercenary with about as much morality as he has. So, you know, they're still gonna be murdering people, murder boyfriends, and all that. I don't know. It was interesting, hearing their conversation, though, about who they should pick as far as, testing the revive book, and how apparently Dream is just the murder hobo of the two of them, and Puns is the rational one that's like, no, dude, it's that combination of like, no, I don't have a problem with you killing anyone. It's just the only problem with that is that I just don't want to get caught. It's just like, that's
No, I find it very funny how dreams like, whatchamacallit, criteria for people that will not be missed when dead is just old, and that's it.
Yeah, because then the people they do go
also,
with are old people.
Guys, we gotta stop making jokes about Dream hating minors. He hates people that play Fortnite. I know there's a lot of crossover between those two groups, people who are minors and people who play Fortnite, but no, he hates people who play Fortnite specifically.
True. I think he...
Additional known fact that Tommy's character canonically plays Fortnite. This is all absolutely canon and not something I'm making up on the spot.
I mean, currently there's more evidence that he hates old people than there is evidence that he hates minors. Which, I mean, given his history with old people on the server, aka, Wilbur, I don't blame him. If I had somebody like 7 years older than me coming into my house and being like, yeah, I'm just gonna secede and you can't do anything about it, then yeah, no, I would also hate old people.
I'm gonna secede this room from you. You're not allowed to come in, you're not allowed to use it. It's mine now.
I'm pretty sure Wilbur's character is like, even at the start, was canonically older than content creator Wilbur.
Yeah, dude, he's old enough to, like, right now, he's old enough to be Tommy's literal dad. But before, he was, like, 30. Because I think
when he was talking about the ages, he was like, oh, I thought my character is being in, like, his 30s.
Yeah. But even
wow,
back then, he was basically,
creator
like,
Wilbur is in, like, late 20s.
Really, learned is
he was almost a decade older than Dream, which just makes the whole thing funnier and sadder at the same time.
Really, all we learned is that Dream hates boomers, and honestly, that's pretty relatable, and I don't blame him for that. So, we've learned some fun things about the Dream SMP recently, and specifically the fact that, I don't know, Dream hates old people. I don't know, it was really funny. I saw people trying to be, like, angsty about it and saying, oh, he picked Vikkstar and Laserbeam because he knows that Tommy looked up to them and that they were the only good things that he had in Exile. I was like, no, he killed them because they were old. If you listen
to the conversation, it's literally because they're old.
Yeah, he literally explains the fact that they're old and no one will miss them. And, like, that's fucked up in its own way, but, like, it was fucking hilarious. I could not stop laughing. I like, woke up in the morning, saw I saw his tweet that he made, and then I saw the video. I watched the video, and I laughed the entire time because of the whole thing with, like, oh, we should kill Phil because he's old. Wait a minute. I know two people who are very old, and no one will miss them. I got this. And I could not stop laughing.
Honestly, this is just it's a really good way to just retcon them out.
Yeah. There is something to be said about Dream's skill in coming up with explanations as to why certain characters aren't around a lot. Like, he just took the whole, like, George is asleep all the time thing and just made it, like, actually make sense. And now he came up with, like, oh, you know, Laserbeam and Vikkstar really haven't shown up at all in, like, a year. Huh. I wonder why people might think that is. Oh, I know. They fucking died. Like a year ago, and no one knew. It's like, oh my god, I don't know. Dream has a storytelling talent, let's just say, because
I mean, he came up with Dream XD, which is like, he came up with the idea that Dream XD is this godlike figure that has 0 sense of time, so he can spout garbage like being a millennia years old.
True.
And still have it fit with the timeline of what happened when Dream XD, the account, first showed up in the DSMP.
My YouTuber's a writer, guys.
Our streamer's a writer.
I can't call him a streamer, he never streams. Life is tragic. Oh man, yeah, so the Dream lore video. I really want more of these. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really funny. We thought it was interesting because this is the first time we've seen anything from, like, Dream's side of things, even if it wasn't him, like, voicing his direct thoughts to us, like a lot of the CCs do. But it was still, like, the first sign of Dream's point of view that we have literally had in, I don't know.
A year.
I think over a year.
No, like,
a year and a half.
Almost 2 years, like, in a few months. No,
it's a year and a half. They started in, like,
it was like August.
April of last year. And then, like,
I think, what was the last time we got
over a year, by a good bit.
So, yeah. It's just, I don't know. I missed my funky little
About
green man.
nearly a year and a
I
half.
missed my funky little green man. And now he's back, and I'm very pleased. So, yes.
Dream be like, content creator Dream be like, there hasn't been any content recently. What can I do?
Not a lot of people have been on the Dream SMP recently, which is a bit sad. I know people are busy. Rambu's back in the UK again, we just found out. So,
What?
And obviously a lot of people were doing holiday
a
stuff.
lot of people were doing holiday stuff. School's just started back up. I don't really blame people for being busy, so I don't know. I just no one's been on the Dream SMP in a little while. I don't even think I've seen Ponk streaming recently, which I'm sad because I think he's out of the country or traveling or something. So I don't know. I just want more Dream lore. I want to know what that funky little green man is doing with his murder boyfriend. I think that they're gonna have a blast, and I want to see it happen.
Something else, the room where they, like, have Vicstar and Laserbeam, like, we don't know where that is, so if Dream does have, like, his own hidden base somewhere that isn't the whole attachment vault place, it might be there. Also, I saw someone mention that it was, like, partially made out of stone, and we know that Rambu had a project.
Oh no, not the
that
stone
he needed a lot
theory
of
coming
stone
back.
for.
No. Yeah, it was. I think it was mostly like stone bricks and stuff like that.
No, I think that at one point Rambu said when he was talking about lore that he didn't really get a chance to do that he built a whole structure off camera.
Yeah, Rambu did say that.
That he didn't get the chance to show because part of his lore getting delayed and not being able to do stuff with other people.
Yeah.
So that might be the place that he built, basically.
Maybe. I'm looking at their little factory building now. Let's see. Yeah, it's like stone bricks, stone, smooth stone. There's a lot of stone. Maybe that's what Puns used his for. No, wait, that wouldn't make sense because Puns did that while he was in prison. Yeah, I don't know. It was,
Oh yeah, Rambu building that thing actually happened after prison, I think, so can't be that.
because that was all
It's probably just some random new structure, like, super far away.
probably.
Or just a basement.
Or the basement. I mean, the thing is,
Or
the
maybe not
basement
even on
runs
the
into
server.
the possibility of being found.
Yeah.
Because people dig.
It looks like it's like far out in like some kind of forest based off the shot of them crossbow fireworking them outside.
It might not have even been on the server.
It is made out of like completely stone and then some concrete. It could just have not been, they could have just used a different like single player world or server or something for it. That way they didn't actually have to get Vicstar and Laserbeam to come on and they could just
Little
change
hard to do
skins.
multiplayer stuff on a single player world.
What did I say? I don't know.
Well, they
what I
probably
said.
just use like the same world that the same server that they use for like manhunt and other videos
that
like
probably
that.
that kind of maybe.
And it's built some stuff up in creative mode.
Yeah, probably that kind of stuff. I don't know.
They could have built it in creative mode, like, on the Dream SMP as well. I mean, I kind of hope that it was built on the Dream SMP, it was just very, very far away, so that there's a chance someone might find it again.
I feel like knowing them and the fact that I'm pretty sure we've seen Dream on the Dream SMP and saying he was recording stuff before, or not recording stuff, but we've seen him just on the Dream SMP strangely at weird times. So, and we know he does go on there when people aren't streaming. I mean, I feel like if there's a fair shot, it actually is somewhere built on the Dream SMP and someone could find it, which would be really cool to find out that, like, someone goes and finds it and, like, figures out what they did there, and that Vicstar and Laserbeam are fucking dead for a year now. I still can't get over how funny that is.
Ghost Star shows off.
You know what'd be fucked up and funny? If we killed off Vicstar and Laserbeam, made their deaths canon, but only because they're old.
Yep. No other reason, just because they're old people. What better explanation could there be? Oh, the Dream SMP gets wilder and wilder every day. What do we have to look forward to soon? Because we're reaching the end of the episode. We're still getting Tales from the SMP at some point.
That was like months ago, man.
Eventually, and also
Copium.
Extreme, next Extreme, final Extreme.
Hopefully soon.
Possibly more foolish in XD streams.
Oh, we're gonna get a Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy meetup before we get the egg stream at this point, honestly.
Oh god.
Probably.
Heavy of little faith.
Yeah. It's just gonna be... Yeah, hopefully in the next week or something we get something. I don't know if I really care what it is, as long as it's lore. Here's something I heard third party that I don't know what the actual context is for, but I'm gonna say it anyways, just because it's something to end the episode off on. One of the lore updates accounts said that apparently, and Phil's is the one who said this, that the Dream SMP decided that canon lives and a character will not know how many lives they have left.
That's something.
Yeah, I remember that's from a little while ago.
He said, I don't know if it's just the people with Vilza speaks to, or if they spoke with everyone, because we know how communication fucking sucks on the Dream SMP. But content creator Vilza did say on one of his more chill streams that they were going to, because it didn't make sense that characters knew exactly how many lives they had before it became permanent, and also because like it takes away the emotional impact of someone, say, dying for someone else, like Foolish.
Yeah.
Narrative. Takes away the tension.
Yeah. So, there's something we know.
Although Foolish did something really interesting with his first canon death, which was play off the fact that his character is like a
Never
demigod,
died.
and that he didn't
Think he could
know
properly
it was possible for
die.
him to actually die.
Which, I mean, honestly, if I was a demigod, I don't know if I would really
Which
think
gave
I could
it
die either.
impact, even it was only the first life, because it gave it impact to the character.
Yeah.
That something could manage to kill him.
Also, Aerith's reaction to that as well.
Yeah.
What was it? There was something I was thinking about, something someone recently said about lore.
Punk mention.
Yeah, what is Punk
Oh yeah,
up to?
Punk hasn't really been doing stuff more. I think we actually mentioned them earlier. I'm looking forward to whatever they end up doing with their lore and the sort of flashback stuff, even if we haven't seen much of it in a while.
I think the last thing...
Oh yeah, the Wilbur thing.
The Wilbur thing?
I think he said recently on
Oh.
stream that he's planning to release the
Burger Van?
AO3 version of the Burger arc.
Yeah.
I will say this right now. Anything Wilbur writes is a fan fiction of the Dream SMP. It is not canon because it did not happen on screen on the Dream SMP, and it also involves characters that he does not own.
Yeah.
Well, I would consider stuff that he writes about his own character as being like properly canon, and then if he writes stuff about other characters,
I'd consider...
But the thing is, though, the
It's more
Burger
than
arc
just their
involves
basic
multiple
actions.
characters.
I think the
so
way that I
because
would-
it's
Right.
it can't be a story
Yeah.
if there isn't other characters interacting with Wilbur, right? Character Wilbur.
he might just post like an outline, like how he posted the outline for what would I think he didn't post it. He talked about it on stream.
So,
The outline for what would happen if they won the election.
yeah.
So it might just be something like that,
I
rather
think,
than prose.
I think if I was gonna have to rationalize it, because we know that Wilbur has some interesting habits when it comes to RP etiquette. So I think if he does write like a proper like story about what his what the Burger arc was going to be, but now they're just skipping past it so they can go to the next part, and that it's supposed to be canon or whatever. The way I would rationalize it is that it's all from character Wilbur's perspective. So from his opinion, this is what he heard when someone said something to him. That's not necessarily what they actually said, but that is what he heard, because we all know Wilbur, hears what he wants to hear.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it's also like
I know,
so
I'm
like
kind of
mostly
concerned
I'm
about
gonna
him,
be
God
at the
moding
fans
someone
who are
else's.
gonna look at this and say everything in that story is canon and the way they act is canon to those characters,
I'm
even though
definitely
that's
gonna
not
view
their
it
character
as
writing them. Because
unreliable narration.
Yeah.
well, you can have that, but it's also like, as far as I'm concerned, unless the people in the Dream SMP on screen refer to or confirm that those are the events that happened, for whatever Wilbur's releasing into the world on AO3, then that is a fan fiction for me. That's it.
That's fair.
But the fact that he has announced that he's going to skip over the burger arc does imply to me that they might be planning to do some more lore relatively soon, because otherwise he would have time to do it, you know?
Yeah, it's also like the reason why I say that is also because Wilbur is just content creator Wilbur is not the most caught up with what's currently happening on the Dream SMP.
No, he's
when
not.
he went to visit the 1.18 world, he didn't know Rambo was dead. He didn't know Dream had escaped. I do not trust him with other characters.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Wilbur...
Hopefully, like, if he does, he's gonna consult other people, like, about their characters and what their characters would do and react to certain things.
It's kind of, but I feel like that's unlikely, just because of the nature of fan fiction, and like the way Wilbur likes to do things himself.
I think there does need to be sort of a word of warning about if he does that, and I was pretty cautious about it too, because he had mentioned several times now that he was like, I'm gonna make an AO3 version of my character's arc that I was planning to do, and because I can't get to do it, and I was kind of cautious and like nervous about that too, because it does come across as, well, does that mean he's just gonna be god moding these other people's characters that he clearly doesn't know everything about and how they would act and react, and that kind of doesn't feel right to me as someone who used to do a lot of like roleplay stuff. I was like, that does not feel right. So I'm hoping that however it comes across, that either he consults the people whose characters he's writing for, or if nothing else, he he tells people like, hey, this is not necessarily 100% canon. This was just sort of the plan, and obviously it probably wouldn't have worked out exactly like this in actuality, because Wilbur does have a funny time when it comes to roleplay etiquette in the server. And like, I respect the guy and his writing skills, but I think sometimes he does tend to say things about other people's characters that get taken as complete canon, even if they're necessarily not true, which isn't fair to the people actually writing the characters.
Like that whole alignment chart thing.
The alignment chart thing's a very good example, because that was a crock of shit.
Yeah.
So basically, if Wilbur does post the burger arc on AO3, which will be interesting to read, I'm sure. I don't know if I will. But it will be interesting to read. I would say just don't take everything in it 100% canon, and understand that the characters he's writing about, if he's not just writing about himself and like Tommy and Tubbo, because those are the only two I think I'd give him a free pass on, maybe Filza, because we know that he has a big hand in writing their characters, and their stories, then I wouldn't say anything that he says about, like, Quackity or Rambo or whatever is 100% canon, unless the people who actually play those characters say, oh yeah, this is how it happened. Which they might do, and that'd be cool. And actually, I think I'd prefer that, because then I would know there was some sort of cooperation. Because there's nothing I'm more uncomfortable with than bad RP etiquette. So,
yeah. Like, honestly, if it happens, I feel like, personally, my explanation would be, character Wilbur was passed out since the last burger arc to right now, and that was his dream.
Yeah, there is something to be said about certain people's lack of knowledge about what's going on in the SMP, and whose fault that may or may not be, because it is very funny that Wilbur joined the server or whatever to mess around in the 1.18 world, and then was like, oh, Dream escaped prison. Oh, Rambo's dead. I didn't know any of this, and I was just like, where have you been? Like, they definitely announced that on the server. That was why everyone was online.
Yeah.
It was like, do you not read your Discord? What are you doing?
Were you just unconscious the entire time this happened? That's...
okay, but to finish up this episode, we're gonna do something a bit different. If you guys have any theories or ideas about the video Dream posted, the lore video, feel free to leave those in the comments, or add us on Twitter, or mention it in our Discord. And when we make our next episode, we will hopefully be able to discuss those theories and talk about them. So yeah, if you have any ideas, post them.
We're pulling a game.
Make it make sense.
It's like, yes. I'm looking forward to hearing.
Or is there anything that you want to add to our theories?
Yeah, or tell us that our theories are wrong or they're right and you think we're right, and stroke our egos. Yeah.
And we might, give it this goes well, we might keep doing this and asking people questions and talking about dancers.
Yeah. If you guys, give us things.
And that's about it for us. See ya.
Bye!
See you next week. Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to the 35th episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast, where you can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. We also have a Discord server that you can find a link to in the description. See you next time!